The prophet John Fogerty once said, "What we burn in our crazy minds." With this in mind, I must have sat through 4 hours of various conspiracy theories concerning the Boston bombings. Like layers of an onion, I peeled back each part as the complexity was exposed. I shared some of this on my Facebook page. And the people behind this have this whole vocabulary that goes with the show. Things like New World Order and drills, false flags. And they fit their scenarios together like pieces of a vast mental puzzle. With the bombings, the main running theory is that the two bombers were somehow embedded to CIA operatives who were sacrificed for the greater good. And of course, the proliferation of gun control in there too. Now, since they use pressure cookers, I think that we should go for pressure cooker control. And then their aunt and uncle and mother and all of them came on ranting and raving with all those horrible Russian accents. And then they tried to tie it in with the Waco explosions last year and everything with this guy on there talking about fertilizer. He's always talking about fertilizer. Well, he's never blown up a stump, so he doesn't know anything about fertilizer. And the surviving bomber scribbles onto a dang pad some kind of nonsense that he and his brother did the attack all by themselves with no help, no finance, no problems with the FBI, CIA, police, or even the local zoning commission. They picked the marathon because it was in the street. No doubt the conspiracy theorists will respond to the idea that the kid was protecting his comrades in arms so they could continue to fight. Okay, yeah. Okay, first off, this kid is a pothead. If you don't believe that, just look at him. This little nerd crawled right out of the yellow submarine and followed his lunatic religious nut brother into hell. The, the theorists claim that he was FBI, CIA, whomever was feverishly trying to kill this punk. I personally have never seen a more restrained bunch of cops in my life. What with robots and helicopters and infrared cameras, dogs, cats, everything. I personally would just lobbed a real hand grenade in there and went ahead and finished the day and paid the guy for his boat. But I have a theory and a prejudice. In my life, I've never seen our government successfully carry out anything. I mean, look. We couldn't invade Cuba. We couldn't conduct a burglary that a crackhead could pull off. And we couldn't even get a favor from a little young intern with the secret police watching the door for the wife. Now, if you want to be alarmed about the government, there you go. Under Obama, they're proving they can't slap a fat kid in Korea, and they can't negotiate the price of a call girl in South America. By the way, I learned how to do that in Mexico when I was in the 10th grade. Yeah. We catch fish off of Alaska. We take them all the way to China to pay the interest on our debt. Then in turn, the Chinese bring them all the way back here and sell them to McDonald's. We have thousands of avocados baking in the sun in Southern California, but what do we eat? Dung-covered avocados from Mexico. Now that's because the government is stupid, right? The Congress and the Senate are as useless as them things that hang off of a boar or hog that never get used. And the Supreme Court, and don't get me started, we probably get better rulings from George Roy Bean. I'm not going to say anything about Obama because if you criticize him, you're labeled as a racist. So I'm just going to say that he is a white dude for the vice president. If our government could pull off a conspiracy, just one, I would probably feel more secure. Maybe invade Indonesia after an earthquake or a major tsunami, and we could win that war. I would feel a whole lot better if that would happen. But don't hold your breath, because right now we're trying to beat a bunch of Arabs that are presently holding their ground with pipe bombs, eating fried goat. I think we should take on something more formidable, such as Mexico. And the conspiracy buffs are all up in the air about the laws passed about the Keystone cops allowing them to look at the internet. But don't worry about that. I'm sure they'll do about the same job with the same fervor as they did when they checked on these two kids up in Boston who were, constructing landmines in their dorm. Those guys, okay. When you watch the conspiracy shows, watch the commercials, because there's where it's at. Just follow the money. Just follow the money. The strength of America is not in the government, it's in the people. If the government would just get out of the way and let the American people work, we'd have it a whole lot better off. Forget about the Fed. Get fed up. Look at it, folks. On what planet does it make any sense for Hillary and Sanders to even think about being president? It's like making El Chapo the school nurse. There are more people than sheep, but the sheep will always follow the sheepdog. But just remember, there's always a black sheep. Or is he our president? What we burn in our crazy minds.